6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to The Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
Tonight, government revokes 100 Sands casino license. Insults thrown in parliament. And Fijian peacekeepers serving in Syria crossover to Lebanon. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The developer of Fiji's first casino, 100 Sands Limited, has had its license revoked. The decision was made by the government yesterday. Chanel Sivan reports.
This is what is left at the site in Denarau Nandi, vacant land with some landscaping done to it. It's been like this since last April. Attorney General A.R. Syed Kayum says the developers did not comply with the conditions laid out in their license.
We have to regroup. We intend to again call for international expressions of interest. We will be advertising it internationally now. There have been a lot of people who've been expressing their interest to set up a casino in Fiji, but we need to ensure that we don't get people who are not credible. We've obviously learned quite a bit from this particular license that was issued.
In 2011, 100 Sands was given a 15-year exclusive casino license for the construction of a $290 million casino and a resort in Denarau. The government had passed legislation in 2010 to enable the operation of 20,000 slot machines, 5,000 table games, offer pari-mutuel wagering and internet gambling. The construction was to have started in 2012 and full operations were to begin in October 2013. Since last March, 100 Sands Limited has accumulated $1.1 million in fines.
We need to get a credible entity that can invest in a casino, but we'll be advertising, and the period for advertisement will be, at least 3 months, because we need to attract people from all over the world and get a better pool of people who can put in the expressions of interest.
3 years after the proposed casino was to take form, all we have to show for it is a piece of undeveloped land. We tried to contact 100 Sands Chairman Larry Cronch and Chief Executive Tim Manning, but have been unsuccessful. Chanel Sivan, FBC News.
Members of Parliament have been reminded to be careful of what they say in Parliament after Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama was heckled. Eleanor Tarangai View reports.
Things got off to a fiery start as Parliament sat today. Opposition member Moses Mbulatavo posed a question about the future direction of indigenous institutions to the Attorney General. However, fellow opposition MP Ratuiso Tikoda raised objections, saying the question was initially directed to the Prime Minister and not the Attorney General.
This is nothing to do with indigenous affairs. I know where that man is going. I know where the honourable member...
Order, please. Order.
Hold on. I know where those two honourable members are going. I've already been there. I said in one... I know where they're going. In one... No. Stop your obsession, man. No.
Order.
We can talk about coups until the cows come home. You'll never get there. It's because of the coups that I conducted that you're sitting here, especially you two. I want you to remember that.
Order.
I'm giving you. Biman, you can't even tell the difference between 1 and 3.6. So
I'm losing my voice here. Order.
Keep quiet.
Order. Of your statements, you need to uphold the integrity of this Parliament, and there should be no personal attack on any other member.
After a short break in the sitting, The Prime Minister took the floor again, saying some of the insults from the opposition are unbecoming of elected parliamentarians.
When you walk through the door, nobody really gives two hoots about your title, supposedly your blue blood. You walk through there, as in military establishment, and when you walk out, you can pick it up again, your ratu, your andi, and you walk out with it. This establishment is I see something along that line. So it was very, very insulting to hear one of our members being insulted by across the room from that side with a itoke insult, kaisi. This is not good for this house. It doesn't augur well for the relationship that we want to establish here.
I am disturbed that words which I did not hear that are unparliamentary were being dished out in this august body. And I'm sure we are all here to keep this house a respectable place, and that words used in this house are respectable.
Opposition member Tupon Ranindalo later responded that Parliament is a house of equals and that if anyone wants respect, they must first give it. Elena Turangibu, FBC News.
Opposition MP Professor Biman Prasad has praised the Education Ministry's efforts to ensure the true performance of each student is shown in this year's exams. Ellen Stolz reports.
Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says without the scaling of marks, the pass rate over the last years would have been drastically low.
Madam Speaker, in biology in 2002, 43% students passed in biology in year 12. Last year, 16.2%, much worse. After scaling, 59.3%. Madam Speaker, this differential between 16.2 and 59.3 enter the market. Some of these will be giving needles. These are the ones who might become doctors.
Out of the 19 subjects for year 12, about 10 have had dismal results for the last 6 years. These were some of the results from 2009 to 2014. English mean mark was 55.6%, and in 2014 it dropped to 16.1. Maths recorded 28.4% but fell 20.7% last year. For biology, the mean mark was 43.3%, and in 2014 it was 32.3. Chemistry recorded 32.6%, and in 2014 32.5%. For physics, the mean mark was 34.9%, and in 2014 it rose to 43%. Accounting was 49.4% in 2009, and in 2014 it was 43.3%.
Respect to the performance of our students, Madam Speaker, is a national shame. For the last several years, the statistics...
Professor Biman also made a few suggestions on how to improve the worrying trend in our education system.
Unless, Madam Speaker, there is a national detailed education commission of independent experts to do that, I think we will make a bigger mess of the education system.
The Education Ministry over the next 8 months will be working on improving student performance across the board. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
Fijian peacekeepers serving in Syria cross over to Lebanon. That and more after the break. Stay with us.
Niara di sambulu bidang na sero gori sana na churi kira na moro chumai. Tuna sele. Ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben. Kela pa. Na magi kira na vi mata ka mondi kira moro buka mena ono kena diwa ena bulu FM. Ambala.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. 146 Fijian peacekeepers serving in Syria have successfully crossed the border into Lebanon. This has been confirmed by Land Force Commander Colonel Sitiveningilio.
The troops will work under the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon in a multi-task force protection unit. They will be based in Lebanon until the UN Department of Peacekeeping Operations makes a decision on the future of its operations in Syria.
This unit will be called the Fijian Light Infantry Company. The Fijian Company will be dedicated force protection unit in a static and dynamic way, conducting operational tasks such as fixed compound protection, convoy escorts.
The budget for UNIFIL is about $14.2 million and will be sourced from the 2015 RFMF budget provision for UNDOF.
Fiji is viewed as a peacekeeping superpower. Our participation for peacekeeping operation has lifted our global profile, resulting in invitation to chair, participate in various UN and international programs and events. For example, G77 plus China.
The deployment has been welcomed and praised by the members of opposition.
Thank you that the government continues to pursue and continue to engage ourselves in the international world of peacekeeping.
The deployment is for 6 months and any long-term support will be formalized through a memorandum of understanding between Fiji and the UN. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
Cabinet has endorsed the increase of the national minimum wage from $2 to $2.32 an hour. This comes almost 5 months after the general election and is one of the promises made by the Fiji First. The increase will mean 100,000 marginalized workers will now receive a second wage increase just over a year after the implementation of the first wage rate on 1st March 2014.
Government's key objective of imposing a national minimum wage policy is to protect and assist the most vulnerable within Fiji's workforce, most of whom are non-union members and do not have bargaining powers to ensure that their interests are protected. But more importantly, they are fairly remunerated for their hard work.
The new national minimum wage will come into effect from 1st July to give market and businesses ample time to adjust. The detention of Joseph Mbilitaki in September last year is still being investigated by police. Defence Minister Timothy Natuva says there was no beating. However, police are investigating how Mbilitaki was taken in without an arrest warrant.
Madam Speaker, the DPP has reviewed all evidence, including that from the medical doctor who examined Mr. Mbilitaki when he was first admitted to hospital, complaining he felt unwell. Also note that there was no beating conducted. The DPP has concluded that there is insufficient evidence to proceed to court on a charge of assault, and therefore there will be no further action.
Mbilitaki was arrested on 26th September after he sent an alleged abusive text message to Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama. He later filed a police complaint that he'd been assaulted. Airports Fiji Limited is likely to give the government a dividend of $10 million for its financial performance in 2014. AFL will also generate additional revenue of $13 million from its aeronautical fees, which will increase from February 1st. Christopher Chand reports.
From the beginning of this month, international airlines are paying more when landing and departing from Fiji.
It is a notable observation that the charges in Fiji are the cheapest, and even after the increase.
Aeronautical fees have increased by 70%, while incinerator charges have gone up by 100%.
We make a loss, so that's why it's a 100% increase, so that we're able to cover our cost on that. On the other charges that have gone up by 70%, so I think you're interested in the number. So for the year 2015, we'd be looking at about around $13 million more in terms of revenue that will be derived from the landing charges.
Khan says AFL has close to $300 million worth of projects over the next 5 years, and the increase in their charges will help infrastructure reforms.
It's easy to get lost in saying 70% increase or 100% increase, but you've got to put things in perspective, and it's justified and reasonable in order for us to do the things that we are supposed to do in terms of infrastructure development and giving reasonable returns to our shareholders.
Since 2008, AFL has been paying the government a dividend of $1 million. Prior to that, it barely broke even. In 2012 and 2013, they gave a dividend of $5 million.
We're forecasting for 2014, it has not been decided, but I think it will be around $10 million dividends for last year.
The dividends are likely to further increase for this year given the aeronautical fee charges that have been increased. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
High-level work is underway to market Fiji as an attractive tourist destination in India and on the Indian subcontinent. A Fijian trade delegation recently visited New Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta and Chennai as part of a tourism roadshow. These cities were chosen as a majority of high-end Indian travellers live there. Trade Minister Fayaz Koya says it is a well-established fact that tourists from India are higher spenders not only in the Fijian market but in most international destinations. He says therefore to promote Fiji to these Indian travellers, roadshows have been undertaken over the past few years.
Furthermore, Madam Speaker, India is central to our plans to expand the non-traditional markets, and we expect 2015 to be a bumper year in terms of visitor arrivals and earnings from the subcontinent.
Indian visitor arrivals grew by 8.2% last year as the visited number reached 3,057 when compared to 2,826 in 2013. We turn to sports now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Coming up, Ben Ryan dismisses speculation that his team lacks leadership and Fiji drawn in tough pool for FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Find out more after the break.
Saruan dulu nakaloko na Radio Fiji 1 ang dumibiki na buongga ni Binano. Nisambula binaka na ngonoboro taki ni rongo sere na ngona nindreko malolo. Nisambula binaka, oye wa meli kilangi. Ningina magatu mana nongo bengi rawi maina moni tiki na warombuka na rua kina vana kaloko na ngona ni rongo mani sana. Waki na wono na ngona ni rongo sere na Radio Fiji 1 na dumibiki na buongga ni Binano.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan has made it clear that there is no problem with leadership within his team. He made the comments in response to the issues raised after Fiji lost to England in the Cup quarter-final of the Wellington Sevens. Josephine Avula reports.
After the suspension of Fiji Sevens captain Osia Kolinisau and Semi Kunatani following the dangerous play against Australia in Wellington, the side went through a tough battle in quarter-final. Despite this, Coach Ben Ryan says he has not a problem of lacking leaders in the team.
I've got no problem with leaders. We've got Ice, as an army captain, he's a natural leader. Samasoni very stood up in the last one of the last games as captain as well. Yeah, no issues with leadership.
Ryan says the public should be aware that losing a single match is not the end of the team.
Obviously, I'm aware of how crazy the public and the media are about Fiji Sevens, but sometimes there's over-analysis of the team and picking holes in things that don't exist. We lost one game over the weekend in extra time with some really disappointing referees' calls that they acknowledged as being incorrect. That's that. That's all we've done.
The Vodafone Fiji Sevens team have lost 4 out of the 24 games they've played so far this year. Now with the recent disappointing plate win in Wellington, the public is still eager to watch what the boys will have to deliver in Las Vegas Sevens.
Fiji Sevens team will perform better as they are doing that now. So as a Fijian, I'm proud to be a citizen of Fiji, and Fiji Sevens team will do better. Best of luck, Fiji Sevens team.
It's a really good team. They performed well in the Wellington Sevens, and the next league, Las Vegas Sevens, I think they'll perform well as well.
I think Ben Ryan has picked up a better team to represent Fiji. Unfortunately for Fiji, only knocking out in the quarterfinal. We won the plate, I think, and I believe that Fiji will definitely have a chance to win the Las Vegas Sevens.
Fiji plays Wales and Samoa on Saturday with the final pool match against New Zealand on Sunday. Josephine Vula, FBC Sports.
The Nawaka Rugby Union in Nandi has begun its first rugby development program for the district. The clinic engages players from primary and secondary schools and sets them up for higher levels of rugby. Josephine Vula has the details.
This is one training program that draws students out onto the playground right after school. The children are learning the basics of rugby and they are being trained under the watchful eye of former player Sailosi Nawabu. President of the Nawaka Rugby Union Matayasi Nambao says they want to lift the standards of the game.
We think that developing these kids right from the early age, from 6, 7, 8 and 9, to get them to grasp the basics of rugby, it will help in a long way and in the long run in helping not only in Nawaka Rugby, but in the Nandi Rugby and Fiji Rugby as a whole.
Nambao says he is concerned about the decline of the performance of the Nawaka Rugby Union in the recent years.
This club alone used to produce great national reps. Household rugby names such as Senevala Tilaulau, Esalalambalamba, Sabenadaria, Manasangoro, and lately Semisi Naibo. And we can see that all those big names have come and gone now, and it's about 5 or 10 years now. No other son from Nawaka has risen up to the levels.
With the positive responses they have been getting about the clinic, Nambao believes they can produce capable rugby players in the future. Josephine Vula, FBC Sports.
Covenant Brothers and VICC remain in the relegation zone of the Suva Cricket League following round 5 of games over the weekend. Covenant Brothers in Sky Blue was beaten by Punjabi Tigers during round 5 matches. The Tigers went 6 for 164 in 20 overs, while Covenant was all out for 72 in 17 overs. Perpetual Cup holders Como remain in top spot on the standings, followed by Army, BSP Titans and Mode 2 round off the top 4 spots. Meanwhile, round 6 league matches will be held on Saturday at Albert Park and the Fiji Sports Council grounds in Asese. The Fiji men's football side is eagerly waiting for its matches against the Wellington Phoenix to be played here in June. It will be the first outing for the senior side in 3 years, and the Phoenix tour couldn't have come at a better time. Indra Singh with the details.
The announcement last week that the Phoenix are heading our way has been welcomed with open arms by Fijian mentor Juan Carlos Buzetti.
For many reasons. First of all, because everybody will have the opportunity to see a professional team. We don't have the opportunity for a long time to be seen here and play 2 games.
While the senior side hasn't been in action for some time, the coach is grateful the match has come at the right time. This as the national side will be in action in the Oceania Nations Cup later this year, which will serve as the first stage of the World Cup qualifiers.
Some of the youngsters we have in mind to put on the seniors, we will play in 2 separate teams, so we will have an opportunity for the seniors also to show they try. But I know all the seniors already, and all the seniors quite now a little bit more mature. They're only 25, 26, 27. For the next World Cup, they will be fantastic.
The Phoenix hierarchy is also upbeat that this tour will not only help their pre-season but also assist Fijian football.
Overall, this is part of a strategy for the club to broaden its tentacles into the OFC region. We have a very good working relationship with Ty Nicholas at OFC, and we want to be bringing more players from that region. We're convinced there's more Roy Krishnas out there.
The Wellington-based franchise, which has Roy Krishna in its ranks, says the match is a great way to test the power of the Fijian national team.
We'll play the national team twice, and our youngsters, our reserve side, will play the under-23 Olympic team. And we couldn't ask for anything better. It'll be a major part of our pre-season.
This is not an international, but sure is a much-needed match for the Fijian seniors. Coupled with that, there are hopes that the Phoenix will set their sights on another Fijian, making the break in the A-League. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the pool draws for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup were held this afternoon in New Zealand. The Vodafone Fiji Under-20 side has been drawn with Germany, Uzbekistan and Honduras for the tournament to be played in New Zealand from May 30th. Fiji will take on Germany in its opening match on June 1st in Christchurch. That was your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Over 80 tourism buyers and sellers are expected to participate at the second South Pacific Tourism Exchange. Sellers are made up of tourism operators in the South Pacific who will have products and services on display. SPTO Marketing Manager Alisi Lutu says the exchange is targeting 80 international buyers. Seller registrations have begun at $2,000 Australian per delegate.
For us at the SPTO, the SPTE presents the best platforms for the Pacific Island countries and the tourism operators to be able to engage, secure business opportunities with around 80 international travel agents from across the globe.
The exchange will be held in June at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre in Australia. Financial literacy training has been organised for rural women by the Ministry of Women and Westpac Banking Corporation. The one-day training session in Suva aims to upskill women who've recently been assisted through market stall projects. It's an effort to empower rural women with financial literacy skills, help them open savings accounts, plan their weekly budget and develop business plans.
The financial literacy program is all about delivering the different stages of planning, financial planning, and it's about managing their money. So as women, if they earn money, how do they spend, how do they plan, budget and save? So today's session is all about that, and economic empowerment is an important part of training for these women.
36 participants, including 3 women beggars, participated in the training. Showers and thunderstorms affected over most places today. Suva received 50 millimeters, while Mombasa received 10 millimeters of rain until 9 a.m. today. A trough of low pressure with associated cloud and shower remains slow-moving over Fiji. Another trough of low pressure affects Tuvalu, Tonga and northern Cooks. Temperatures remained high throughout the day. Savu and Mombasa hit 32 degrees. Expect occasional showers over most places tomorrow. Isolated thunderstorms with heavy falls expected, especially in the afternoon or evening. Thursday's looking pretty much the same. Occasional showers and thunderstorms over most places. Recapping our main stories, the government has revoked the license of casino developer 100 Sands. Concerns at insults thrown in Parliament, and Fijian troops in Syria cross over into Lebanon for peacekeeping operations. On to our poll question. This week we're asking, do you agree that the Fiji flag should be changed? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC _news or simply hashtag FBC News. That's news for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow. Good evening.